Welcome back to my channel, guys. My name is Katie and this is True Love from Above. So if you haven't seen my other videos, go ahead and watch them, like, share, and subscribe. But this week's video is just going to be super short and I'm just going to get straight into it. So my video for this week is going to be about worship, because I feel like when it comes to worship, it's not being talked about that much. And this is what helped me through my times when I was depressed, when I was going through my marital issues. This is what helped me a lot. And I feel like a lot of people don't talk about it. We speak about prayer, we speak about fasting, but we don't speak about worship. And this is just as important as the other ones. So worship to me is like my main thing. I can worship more than I can pray. And the reason being is I remember when I was a child, when I was going to Seventh-day Adventist, this is in Jamaica, I used to sing on the choir. I used to sing at church with my dad. And I just remembered this the other day because I didn't remember anything about it. But I used to do that. And I love music. I love music. I have my specific kind of music, but I love music. But when I was going through my really hard times, worship music is what got me through. Worship music is what really got me through, and it's still getting me through. I feel like if I go a week, 2 weeks without listening to worship music, like it makes me depressed. Because this is through worship is where I reach, where I have my intimacy with God, where I can express myself through my worship music. So back then when my depression just started and everything, elevation worship is what got me through that time. And I didn't even know how I started to listen to worship music. I know at one point I was depressed, and at another time I was listening to worship music like every day, and this is what calmed me. Because when I listen to worship music, I make the music like I'm the one that's singing it. I'm the one that's worship, like singing the song to Christ. So that's how I do it when I'm worshiping. So what I normally do is in the morning or even when I'm going to work, I'll play my worship music and I'll worship. I have my specific type of worship music that I listen to and the type of tone that I listen to. But even when I was coming back to Christ, because I got baptized back in 2019 and I rededicated my life back in 2022. And this happened to me like one day I was going to church, and I went to church. No, I wasn't going. I went to church and the worship was going on. And then after the worship was going on, there was this song that's by Elevation Worship, and it's called Worthy Is Your Name. And I didn't even know the song at the time. While I was listening to the song, it's like I could see visions of myself from when I was a little girl growing up, and Christ was right there with me. So that's how he showed me through that time. Like I was right there with you all along when you were a child, when you were growing up, through your marital issues and all that. I was right there and I'm still there with you. And I kid you not, when I saw this, I burst out into tears. So every time that I listen to that song, it just brings me right back to that moment. And then there's this other songs from Maverick City. I listen to Maverick City a lot too, because when I worship, and I feel like a lot of worship leaders, they go and they worship, like they go at church and they worship, but they go there as it's like it's their job. They don't make it a time where it's their personal time with Christ. It's them really pouring their heart out to Christ. You know what I mean? So they make it as it is their job. and they don't connect. That's why most of them, they leave the church, they go and do their own thing, because they didn't have any passion in singing. They weren't real in singing when they were worshiping God. Because if I should sit here and really get deep down in worship, I can't even I wouldn't even be able to sing, because I would be in tears. I remember when I was back in New York a while back, and I used to worship in the morning when I was on my break and when I was leaving work. And one day I was worshiping in the car, and literally I just started crying. I started shaking. I could definitely feel the presence of the Lord there. I was shaking. I was in tears, bawling. I couldn't even sing. I couldn't even pronounce the word. I was shaking. Even after the song was finished, I was still shaking, because that's so worship, when you mean it from your heart. That's how it feels like. And when you're worshiping, worship and imagine, picture yourself like it's you and God. Because when you're getting to know a man, and when you're getting into a new relationship, you create intimacy with them. And I feel like worship is the gate for intimacy with God. It's like you're soaking yourself, you're preparing yourself. And I feel like even with prayer too, because sometimes I just don't like to get down in prayer. I like to be in the presence. I like to worship. I like to free my mind from whatever was going on, and get my spirit all wild up to pray. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I do it all the time, but this is something that maybe you can practice, even if you can't pray. Just put on a worship song. I'm pretty sure there's tons of worship song that's out there that can speak to your situation, and make that song your own. Make the lyrics your own, like you're the one that's singing it to God. You're the one that's singing it, not Marvick City, not Elevation Worship, not nobody else. You're the one that's singing it. Because even I had this other experience where this song from Tasha Cobb, and I think it's from Marvick City also, and it's called In the Room. And I used to play this a lot, and I was saying in my mind, like, if I ever feel lonely, if I ever feel a type of way, I want this song to play in my head when I feel that way. And one day I was so depressed, and I didn't even know why I was. And I was so in my feelings, and the song kept playing in my head, playing in my head, playing in my head. And I'm like, why am I hearing this song? I'm not even thinking about it. And it hit me. The Lord is the one that's putting this song on my heart, because I did say in my mind that whenever I feel that way, I want this song to remind me that He's in the room, He's here. And He did. It did happen. So this just to show you that He cherishes those times spent, and He pay attention to the smallest details. You know what I mean? So I would advise you, make worship a big part of your day. Even if you can't pray, put on a worship song and worship. And I'm telling you, the words will come out of your mouth to pray. Everything will come out of your mouth to pray. The words will come out of your mouth to pray when you're soaking yourself in worship. Nobody wants to just go down in prayer just like that. You have to look at it as you have a guy, and you're getting to know him, or you're doing a special night for you and your husband or whatever, and you make sure you set the tone. So worship is really setting the tone, to pray, to have an intimate time with Christ. You know what I mean? So make worship a big part. Worship helped me a lot. Worship helped me to release my soul, to release my tears, and for me to even get revelations, because most of the things that I've gotten, revelations and all that, is through worship. Most of my answered things that I wanted to be answered by God, it was through worship, that I was worshiping, and it just dropped in my spirit. And that's how I know that, yeah, He answered me through my worship. So make worship a big part of your day. I would suggest every day. Make it a big part of your day. When you worship, just make the song your own. Don't just sing a song just because. Make sure the song speaks to you, speaks to your situation, and it's like you're the one that's singing it. So that is all I have for you guys today, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.